Hello lads and lassies, and welcome back to my channel as I'm Mr. Mayhem. Today we will be ranking the Fast and Furious franchise. Before we get into this, if you do enjoy this, remember to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe for more. You can support me on Patreon, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, links in the description. Over the past 5 months in preparation for Fast X, me and Callum have watched all of these leading up to it. So we watched 2 a month, and then we watched F9 the afternoon before we saw Fast X in the evening. So there's only one we didn't watch together, which was Hobbs and Shaw, because we'd seen it a lot and we didn't. It's not part of the main. You don't need to see it to understand what's happening. And even then, we'll get into understanding. But we did actually end up watching them separately. I ended up watching it anyway because I wanted to, and he ended up watching it after it. But anyway, it's besides the point. So we're gonna start off with obviously the first Fast and Furious. The first Fast and Furious was obviously the first one that I say obviously. It's not obviously. It was the first one that I'd ever seen. I believe I caught it with my dad on TV one day, and it was, at the time, it was. I always remember liking it, but never like loving it. I always enjoyed it. And over the years, I actually never. I hadn't watched 1 to 4 in probably 7-8 years. So going back through these was quite I was excited because they were the ones I remembered the least about, and we did watch these all in 4K because I got the box set and it was cheap. If you see my pickups video for January, I believe. Anyway, so the first Fast and Furious, the 4K for it is absolutely gorgeous. It's the best out of the set, hands down. The film itself, it's decent. It's decent. I enjoyed it for what it was. You can see a lot of the beginnings of all the whole family stuff, and it's very humble beginnings. And as you go on, you're like, how did we get from street races to, well, where we are now? But anyway, I enjoy it for what it is. I would probably put it firmly in probably C tier. Yeah, probably C tier. I know it's the original, but I still enjoy it for what it is. But yeah, it's not my favorite. Too Fast, Too Furious. This is the one. This has the best title ever and has been memed to death. This 4K looks pretty good as well. It's fun. It's very generic. But I feel like Brian and Roman carry this film. This was back before Roman wasn't annoying. We'll get to that later, but I did enjoy this film for what it was. It is very generic, but I do actually enjoy it. I would probably put it on the same level as the first one, personally. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about it. Absolutely cracking title. It's amazing. Now, Tokyo Drift was one that I watched quite a lot when I was younger, and remembered not, like, as the years went on, watching Fast 5 onward quite a lot, it kind of like 1 to 4 kind of fell off for me a bit, and yeah, but rewatching it, honestly, it's a lot of fun. Yes, is it Lucas Black? Is that his name? I think Sean Boswell. His accent is awful. It is, it's hilarious, yeah, it's hilarious. But the actual practical like driving stuff is insane. The drifting is so satisfying to watch. I really enjoy it, and I'd probably, I don't know, I'd probably put it, I don't know, this is really difficult now. I'd probably put it in, do you know what, I'd probably put it in C tier by everything else, like, yeah, probably put it in C tier. I might switch this up later on, depending on how it goes, but yeah, really enjoy Tokyo Drift. Should put it back there. Fast and Furious. This is one I was also looking forward to rewatching. I'd seen this one a couple times as well when I was younger. It's one that pardon me. It's okay. It takes us back to Brian, Mia, Dom, and all that, like, for the first time in 2 films. The whole crew, I mean, but it's fine. Yeah, I'd probably put it in yeah, I'd probably put it in D tier, to be honest. It's not awful, but it's not great. I can watch it, but it's not good. And then we move on to Fast 5. This film, I swear, I've probably seen it 30 plus times, because way back when I used to have like a portable DVD player, and I'd have it on loop from the scene where they're looking over Rio from the top of a skyscraper. I'd have that on loop right to the end, back and forth. I swear I've watched this film like probably over 30 times. It's probably my favorite, but I've seen it so much that it does kind of lose that charm for me a little bit. But I am gonna put it in S tier because it is peak Fast and Furious. Dwayne Johnson is intimidating as fuck in this film. He just brings a different energy in this one, and I think he's a fantastic villain. He needs to do more serious stuff, but if he doesn't want to do more serious stuff, that's on him. But I think he can really do it because he's also quite good in Faster, where he's playing a more serious role. But yeah, really good villain in this. The stunts and all that are insane. The fact that the actual vault thing was mostly practical, you know, within the realm of feasibility, but it's insane that they did that practical as much as they could. Look it up. I believe there's a Variety Notes on a Scene video with the stunt coordinator or someone, I believe. Watch it. It's insane. But yeah, just absolutely just top tier. The soundtrack slaps. Just, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's awesome. I haven't commented on any of the 4Ks. Yeah, so the first one by far looks the best. The second one looks really good. The third one, nah. The fourth one, nah. The fifth one, nah. From this point onward, they're all just quite meh. Because they're not, because they're all shot on digital and not. They're not the higher res digital ones. They're all 2Ks. But anyway, Fast 6. I'm putting this in S tier as well. It's fantastic. Yeah, the stuff with Letty is, I can believe it. I mean, believe me, when you see the shit that they pull later on the franchise, you're like, okay, yeah, no, this is completely feasible. Fast 6, great stunts. Awesome to have Hobbs on their side this time. I'm just trying to remember more about it. Hobbs. Luke Evans is a great villain. Nice change of scenery, and yeah, I don't know why I can't remember much about this one. It's weird. But I do really like it. I'm struggling to think about it. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Definitely up there with 5 in my opinion. Yeah. Then moving on, yeah, the 4K looks fine. And then moving on to 7. 7, ooh, honestly, I'd probably put that in S tier as well. Like, the fact that this movie came out as fucking good as it did, considering all the shit behind it, not shit, but shit in a bad way, but not in a controversy way, like, you know, obviously Paul Walker stuff. The stunts are dialed up to 11, and they're actually insane. I forgot one thing about Fast 6. The goddamn runway scene is hilarious. You know all the memes where it's like the longest runway. Like, I think it loops around the Earth. A couple of times. I can't remember, but it's ridiculous. Anyway, but yeah, Furious 7, absolutely beautiful ending. It is perfect. The franchise probably should have ended there, but it didn't. But just absolutely beautiful tribute. Stunts are insane. The CGI for Paul Walker still holds up. There are a few scenes where but it still holds up really well. The 4K for this, at least on me and Callum's TVs, looked fucking awful. It just looked either way too bright or way too dark. It was awful. It's probably the worst 4K we've ever seen, but either way, absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Yeah, these 3 films are just peak Fast and Furious for me, and for a lot of people. But yeah, just great set pieces, just absolutely fantastic. And Jason Statham is terrifying as the villain. He's great in it. It's funny how they always seem to turn the villains into allies, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, great. Fate of the Furious, I'd only seen this once, and until we rewatched it, and that was in the cinemas when it came out. and I just remember being like, eh. But upon rewatch, I think it's decent. I would say it's probably on the level of, probably put in B tier if I'm honest. Yeah, probably B tier. I do really enjoy it. I think that the whole Dom switching sides thing does work. It makes sense that he would do it for that and why he didn't tell them. And I think I nearly said Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel puts in a good performance here. Obviously not Oscar worthy, but you know, for Vin Diesel it's pretty good. Cypher is just a bit of a shit villain, personally. I don't know why. I just never really vibed with what she's been doing. I think it's really cool that, you know, Deckard's back and that Owen shows up again, which is really cool. Yeah, it's good. It's just absolutely ridiculous at times. I don't mind that. The best part about this film by far is the prison break scene with Deckard and Hobbs. It's fantastic. Just it's really, really good. But yeah, probably solid B tier. I like it a lot more than I did before. Then we have Hobbs and Shaw. Honestly, yeah, probably A tier. Yeah, definitely. Hobbs and Shaw is the perfect popcorn film in my opinion. It's just great. Fate of the Furious 4K looks fine. Hobbs and Shaw 4K looked fine. Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw is just peak popcorn to me. Like, it is very childish, but I think their chemistry is insane. I love that Idris Elba's hamming it up as just a ridiculous supervillain. It's great. I love it. Definitely A tier. 100% A tier. Then we were just gonna F9. I'd seen it once before this in the cinema. Really didn't like it, but I did see it in 4DX for the first time and thought maybe that's the problem. No. This film is utter dog shit. It feels like it was written by a 5-year-old. None of it makes sense. It's actually awful. And it's just so relentlessly boring most of the time. The only film that's going in F tier. And onto Fast X, and the 4K looks fine. And onto Fast X. Now, I was worried about this, because I was like, is this going to be just Fast X? But Fast 9, sorry, but just actually worse. But I actually ended up coming out of this enjoying it a lot, mainly because of Jason Momoa's performance. He is like, he saves this film, and I'm so looking forward to seeing what else he does in the next 2 films. I would honestly put it in B tier if it weren't for the awful cliffhanger ending. Like, okay, hang on, I forgot about Fast 9. Somehow Han's alive. They just like, oh, he's in the car, and then next minute he's not. It makes no fucking sense. It's so dumb. But then Fast X pulls a fucking it's Fast X. It pulls a saw twist. If you haven't seen it, just leave. But honestly, it pulls the saw twist when it's like, oh look, Alan Richardson's character was just off screen. The camera cut just before he came into the frame. It's like, okay, it's kind of cool. I think he's a great addition to it. I feel like Brie Larson was kind of fucking useless in it. But it's like, why do 9 out of 10 people have to be related? Brie Larson is Mr. Nobody's daughter. That girl that Dom saves in Brazil is Elena's sister. It's like, why? It's so dumb. But honestly, Jason Momoa saves this film. I enjoyed it so much because of him. But the ending is so abrupt and awful. Like, it cuts to black right before the dam blows. But I thought, okay, that's it. But then there's like a minute-long scene where it cuts back to Letty and Cypher, and it's like, oh, look, it's a submarine. And then Giselle just pops about it, which is fucking dumb again. They brought her back, and that's how it ends. It's awful. I think it would have been better if they'd literally just moved those scenes around, and then the dam is where it ends. Still think the Giselle thing is dumb as fuck, but yeah. I do think it's cool though that Hobbs is back. I don't know how they did it, but that's awesome. That film. But honestly, I really enjoyed it for what it was. It was never boring for me. But I do see a lot of flaws with it. But Jason Momoa just carries the fuck out of that film. He is great, and that's why it's probably in a C at least. But yeah, that's been my ranking of the Fast and Furious films. Let me know what your favorite and least favorite ones are. By far, F9 is the worst. It is fucking atrocious. Yeah. And the ending for Fast 9, the last act doesn't even feel like that last set piece to me. I was like, wait, no, that's not it, is it? And it was. It's an awful ending. And also, sorry, another thing about Fast X, Jacob just sort of becomes John Cena, funny, laughy, haha guy. He's complete polar opposite from what it was in F9. And then they just kill him off. It's like, I thought that was so fucking cheap. Like, that was really cheap that they did that. No good. No good. What else is there? Let me just have a quick think about this and look at these, because yeah, Fast X, just yeah. I mean, the film feels way more cohesive than I thought it would, considering all the shit about, you know, the having to replace director midway through, then Vin Diesel apparently just not being great to work with. He wouldn't show up, or he would show up and not know his lines and be totally out of shape. I think it turned out pretty good for what it was. But yeah, what else is there? Dom is the centerpiece of this film, and there's a lot of characters that just have one scene and then fuck off. Deckard's here for a scene, then fucks off. Pete Davidson's there for a scene which really could have just been cut out. Who else is just there? Oh, apparently his mum now has just teleporting powers. Is there for Dom. I do think it's pretty cool though that like a bomb gets set off and it does cause major damage. It's bullshit. I was like, no one was harmed. Yeah, fuck off. No one was harmed. Bullshit. But what else is there? Yeah, Mia's there for 2 scenes, then fucks off. Who else is there? Yeah, Letty is like in one action set piece and then is just locked in that black site for the rest of the film. Yeah, it's also at this point, this family just feels way too big and it feels like they're just drawing it out. Oh, I forgot to mention, Callum got this. He got us matching Dom lookalike necklaces for our birthday. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear that. As a joke, and they're amazing. But yeah. Fast and Furious. What a franchise. I am actually excited, although I hate the fact that we have to wait 2 fucking years for the like resolution to this cliffhanger, and then it's now going to be 3 parts. It's like, it's so dumb. But anyway, that was my Fast and Furious tier list. Let me know what your favorite and least favorite ones are. Let me know what you thought of Fast X, and yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you do enjoy this, remember to like, drop a comment, subscribe for more. You can support me on Patreon, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, links in the description. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.